So a little bit about my current situation. I'm just kind of reflecting on everything. We've just heard Pete Hegseth come out and say the Department of War has declared a war on narco-terrorists, and not necessarily a place that I thought I would find myself, but it's very relevant to global affairs, and it's something that's important, and it's a convoluted issue to say the least. But I've had a series of issues here with local law enforcement as far as what I've seen them involved with while surveilling them and making that information public. And this is not a secret to them, evidently. And that was the point. And, this comes at a time when the city council and others have really started to take a hit as far as the things that they've been involved in, and that information becoming public, and it's just now kind of starting to eke out a little more. And there's a lot of good people that work here, so I want to be clear about that. I'm actually at a City of Austin place right now. It's a museum, and it's a place where I was actually told, hey, it's okay to stay here, and it's a pivotal time when the homeless here have really always been just a part of the community, and it's caused a lot of problems for a lot of different reasons. And they're trying to address it. They always have tried to address it somehow. But there's been a lot of killings. There's been a lot of violence. There's been a lot of if not complacency with these types of things. There's been some participatory things. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're a sworn peace officer and you know that some of these things have gone on and you don't do anything, then you're participatory. You should have a higher, you should be held to a higher standard of accountability as a result of it. And you will be. But the long and short is, I've meticulously documented with hundreds of videos myself with ISR platforms, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and other forms of operational status being live in the field for well over a year now in Austin, specifically in the context of monitoring the movements of these people that are involved with a cult-like activity in the homeless community, and how that relates through the local law enforcement and on up through corporatism, through the different local, state, and federal branches of our intelligence and military communities and law enforcement. So that's what I've been a part of, and I could get into the specifics a little more, but I want to keep this kind of brief. And this is a very informal setting for me, obviously, right now. But the irony there is that I was filming a human trafficking ring the other day, and these guys they tried to kill me. Basically, I brought my clavicle. They chased me down. This chick pulled a knife on me. The cops were, participatory in it to some degree. In fact, one of them is recorded saying that to take me to the lake, which, if you know anything about the lake here, it's just surreal. It doesn't really, it doesn't bother me because I've got thick skin, but it would terrify other people. I think I'm numb to this in a way, but when you hear that out of one of these cops, there's been 39 bodies pulled out of that lake since 2023, which is an unprecedented event. It's I think you would be hard-pressed to find that many bodies pulled out of the Great Lakes. Probably a shipwreck up there or something was more than, but there has never been anything like that, certainly in Texas, as far as I know, anywhere in the United States, or probably anywhere. It's a lot of people out of, in that short time span. And so it makes you wonder what the hell's going on here, and it's a lot to get into, and you don't want to blame the people if they're not responsible in a way cognizantly, and this may play a factor into some of the things that we're working on. So I need to be clear about that, and how that transpires as far as the investigation, and bringing that to the public and anyone else. Gets into molecular function, residual DNA, all these other things that you may hear me discussing to varying degrees. It's all bona fide, it's hard scientific data, and it's the real thing. But when I see an officer, I had a lot of times I'll have a counterintelligence opportunity when they're trying to set me up. This is the way that I think. It's just the way it is. And so a lot of times they'll send a woman to me. They did this. I was sitting out at a place kind of like this, and this girl came up to me, and she was in distress. She needed help. And I said, "Sure, okay. I was aware of other surveillance that I had of me, and And so I said, sure, I'm going to go ahead and take this. I can tell that they sent her in here. And to some degree, she seemed to be aware of it too. She seemed to be a counterintelligence asset. How that happened, I don't know. But I can tell you that the people that I deal with are exceedingly well placed. And that's just the way that God's blessed me. But to get into that a little more is to say that somebody was chasing her down. They'll shave the heads of these girls a lot of times. It's weird. It's like to mark them or something. It's part of this group mentality. They mark them that way. It's over and over and over. And she had that. And they had tried to get her, and she had run away. That's what it was. They had buzzed her up. She had like a no guard fucking mark all through her head. Most of her hair was short. It was short, but they buzzed her again. She had been through it. She had been basically held captive by these people. And this is another thing that's emerging in the media right now with a woman that was caught, handcuffed, kept for months, and against her will. And it's just, the group that does this is just, it's wild. It's just, you can't believe this stuff is finally coming out. So that's in the mainstream news here. And so she was a part of that group, and somebody was chasing her down, tried to run me over, etc., etc. The cop, that woman who was trying to, who was harassing us, the one that she called was a Hispanic guy. And listen, I've got Hispanic blood in me, so that you can kiss my ass if you think this is a racial thing. My dad was the chairman of the Mexican Chamber of Commerce before they even taught a Hispanic up in Dallas, and worked at the Bushes and all this kind of other stuff. So don't even go there with me. I'll just go ahead and stop you right there. But this, we knew that there were cartel movements in the area as far as the dope. I reported this stuff, including human trafficking, to the cops on video. We're busting up this fucking we're busting up another place that was over here, the Dragon Lounge. All that's on camera. It's all here for you to see. If you're a detective and you're trying to set me up, you're done. Get out. You might as well resign. You're probably going to get arrested if you don't kill yourself. And the bottom line, this cop knew that she was in on it. I mean, this lady is standing behind him. They were just trying to get me locked up for, this bitch tried to run me over for just walking down the street. And so this was the same thing that happened with this human trafficking ring. So we've got them snared up. I had to go through the system to do it. I broke my clavicle, which is a pretty painful thing. And these guys are toast. They just they might not really sink into them yet, but we've done this already. I'm totally familiar with the process here as far as the infiltration aspects of this and the counter sabotage parts of it. And so, what you can tell me, I'm an asset. I do Title 10 and Title 50, and you guys are done with this. And so, if you're not a part of wanting this to happen on your department, you should resign, because nobody should want a dirty cop off their force more than a good cop who's on the force. I've interviewed innumerable different good cops, and this is the resounding consensus. And you guys want to sell dope, you want to sell pussy, you want to do this, and this, man, fuck you. Get the hell out of here. It's disgusting. As far as, you're being a cop, things should be, I don't want to get political with it. It's just the ways in which this has perpetuated a cycle of just debauchery in these communities around the country is terrible. And I think Trump is doing a great thing. I think Hexeth is doing a great thing. Cash Patel, these guys, Borgino, and the other guys, excuse me, they're doing a good fucking job. And it's hard to say that because I wasn't, I had my doubts, and I don't want to get into that, but I'm going to leave it right there, and I'm going to get an interview out of the, the coordinator here. Very nice, and there was a consensus here that, hey, go ahead and stay here, and so they were real cool about that. And this is an African American history museum, and you can see some of that back there. And it's an interesting thing that was somehow found me to stay here, and it means a lot to me. And I want to be able to make that clear too. And I'm glad that I've gotten this done. It feels like a load off my shoulders because it's hard for me to digress enough to get this done slowly and concisely to tell anybody what I'm doing in the kind of method where I'm not going a million miles an hour because I've got all of this stuff going on, guys. And so it's a wild ride. And I'm going to leave it right there. I love you guys, and we're getting it going. I've got this other stuff going on with Laura Eisenhower. I really hope that I can reach her with some of this stuff. I think that she's going to wake up to this, and she wants to do what's right and stuff like that. I believe the best in her, and some other people out there too. And so, we all have to work together with this. And I'm not pointing fingers, but if you're trying to set me up, we're going to get you. I mean, that's why I'm like a trimble hook. I told you guys this before. If you come and take the bait, if you guys swallow the fucking bobber on this deal, pulling me out of there leaves your guts on the ground figuratively. That sucks for y'all. And so that was the point. And this is where we're at. We're moving forward. It's a forward advance, and keep on. Okay, keep on trucking. Love you guys. And we need to be able to have a points of reconciliation. And last thing, deconfliction resolution is a part of what I have to do here, and it's guys, we need to be able to talk. If you guys are going to sit there and try to play dumb and coy with us, guys, you need to understand the caliber of who you're dealing with, what's really going on, the capabilities that we have, and say, listen, you're toast. There's nothing we don't know. Okay, and so you can just hang it up and say, you know what, you just have to acquiesce to this truth. You're going to have to accept this and know that we're not playing with you. And I hate to say that, I'm not a killer in the sense that I'm going to run up and shoot you or something, but people could wind up dead very easily in the mix with this kind of stuff. And that doesn't matter if you're a fucking peace officer or not. It doesn't matter. There's a whole string of these other guys that this has already happened. And so let's avoid that if possible and find that point of reconciliation. That's what I'm saying. Okay? Have a good day.